lady. She's got short white hair and glasses, and she's very quiet, very sweet, and kind of, as you sit at the kitchen table, she's kind of bustling all around at first, getting you food. And then when she tells a story, it's quiet. She tells a story about her childhood.
She says, when I was a little girl, I lived on the banks of the Red River. And to grow up back then was very different from the way the kids grow up now. We didn't have TV, we didn't have radio. So you had to make your own fun. But I was lucky because I lived near Miss Lala. And if you lived near her, you had it made.
She used to play hopscotch with all of us neighborhood kids. She was a short, squat little lady, and she wore glasses, and she giggled all the time like she was a kid.
She grew a beautiful garden. I remember Miss Lala loved flowers.
She took us out into the woods behind her house, and there she taught us to hunt for squirrel. Miss Lala was a great shot, and she could skin the hides off those things faster than any man could.
She loved being outdoors. Lots of days she would go down the bank, get in her little boat, and catch fish on the river.
She had a pet crow, which she caught and tamed. She taught it to talk, and when she called, it would fly down and land on her shoulder and stay there a while.
She also had a pet cat named Kitty Press. And her husband, Claude, would feed the cat hot buttered biscuits under the table with her homemade butter. And so they had a good fat cat.
I remember one winter when I was small. My mother lost a child in childbirth, and I remember Miss Lala at the front door with a bouquet of white flowers for my mother. She was just a precious person.
Miss Lala didn't have children of her own. She kind of adopted the whole neighborhood. So we would all run down to her house after school, and she'd always welcome us in, and she'd always give us the best snacks. She had a huge wood stove in her kitchen, and she would pop popcorn and fry hot griddle cakes right on top of her stove.
She had a red velvet couch where she kept all of her instruments in her living room. She could play anything with strings on it.
She would take her fiddle out onto the front porch, and she would play for us. And when Miss Lala played, us kids would get up, and we would dance and dance. All of our community knew of Miss Lala as a fiddler, so if folks had a party or a dance, they'd ask her to come and play, and she was always ready to go. She never went anywhere without her fiddle or her rifle. She would head down the road and meet up with her friends, and they would sit down and play music together. And they'd have wonderful memories of her. They'd say, "Oh, Miss Lala, she played the prettiest music you ever heard." She would roll the notes in there just perfect. If we started playing at supper time, we might not stop until 12 o'clock, 1 in the morning, and Miss Lala would hang right in there. She wouldn't quit playing until she about fell over.
first heaven playing music. And that's the story that we heard after the strawberry shortcake at Letha's sexton's kitchen table. After that, we got in her car and Letha drove us down the road to where Miss Lala is buried, next to her husband, Claude. We went further down the road to the place where Miss Lala's house used to stand, and Letha said, I can just picture her standing there with her pet crow on her shoulder like it was yesterday. She said, I wouldn't miss that life, just living by her for the world.